For centuries, Egypt has been known for the stalwart physique of her people, a hardy race. See these boys from the gymnasium at Cairo, common but powerful examples of Egypt's young manhood. They compare very favorably with our own football huskies, don't they? After all, youth is not so different the world over. Men like these would seem to hold great promise for the future of any land. One can readily see the mark of the builders of the pyramids and the Sphinx in these husky bodies. Their faces are clean and honest. What does fate hold in store for them? Here are some of them in India. Cotton is one of Egypt's chief products. See how a single man, barefoot and in the boiling sun, carries a 300-pound bale, not on a truck as we do, but on his back. Now see his buddies load a modern railway train in the same manner in which they have loaded ox carts for centuries. We see them irrigating the vast valleys. No modern methods here, just primitive, hard endurance. Imagine doing this from sunup to sundown. What stamina! But there is a sinister menace undermining these workers. Egypt, for the past few years, has been the center of the drug traffic from the east. Great quantities of destructive narcotics have been smuggled into this country in shipments of fruit. A very wholesome-looking orange can shelter destruction. Even the native bread has been found purveying this soul-destroying viciousness. There are no ends to which these ruthless smugglers will not go to transport drugs. Let us cite one of the most interesting cases of smuggling to come to knowledge. A camel caravan was crossing the Palestine frontier. It was particularly noticeable to a Sudanese corporal that these camels had not been clipped that year as was the custom. He thought he would buy one cheap for wool which brought a good price. He ran his fingers through the silky hair on the camel's hump, when suddenly he encountered something hard. Egypt is bravely facing a terrific problem. Europe's limitation of the manufacture of drugs to the amount necessary for medicinal use has encouraged the illicit manufacture in the Far East. Heavily patrolled borders with many custom houses make smuggling through Europe more difficult. Hence the terrific trek across the desert. And these desert police deserve much credit for their brave efforts. Imagine the cleverness of the men dealing in this unlawful trade. These trips are engineered by the craftiest underworld mind, as it is so highly profitable. $6,000 worth of hashish was being transported in this instance, and hashish is the most difficult to hide, as it has greater bulk than the other drugs. One glance at these hardened prisoners bears out this statement. Not only is the smuggling through the country a problem, but it has caused a vast increase in drug addiction in the country. And now comes the dope peddler. He creates his vile trade by promise of greater sexual ability. He is not even satisfied at creating addicts, but also cheats his trade by adulterating drugs with crushed human skulls. These are some of his doomed victims. Gone is their desire for work. Gone are the thoughts of the glory of Egypt. Gone are ambition, health, and friends. And in their places, look. Notice this man's chest. A quick, sharp sniff to ensure immediate absorption by the sensitive membranes of the nostril. Oh, how can he? Not content with assuming control of the forces of the body, drugs make their onslaught on the mind. Taken before the habit has formed its grip upon the nerve strings of its victim, the effects were soothing, stimulating, and excitingly pleasurable. But once the habit becomes master and has fastened deep its hold, the picture changes. Now the victim is a slave and must obey. Gone are the pleasurable sensations of the drug. Now to feel normal, he must have his narcotics. The addict fights off the demand. The weight of this world curse crushes him. Where is his vaunted willpower? Where is his physical resistance, his resolutions, his strength, his optimism? The flesh cringes under the demand. The nervous system is whipped into shreds. The toll is physical pain and mental chaos. It is only a question of hours until the will surrenders. The mind is obsessed by the delusion that tomorrow it will conquer, but tomorrow never comes. Every drug fiend goes through a daily battle, the battle of reason against habit. What chance has this little family in the clutches of this demon? Drugs ruin health, wreck careers, fill prisons and asylums. Notice the difference in these men now. These are from the same stock as the ones you have just seen. Narcotic drug addiction is a municipal, state, national, and international problem. There are 3 avenues of attacking this problem. The first is to reduce the number of addicts by isolating them and curing them, thus reducing the demand for drugs. The second attack must be directed toward the discouragement and arrest of the street trafficker and distributor, thus striking at the supply. The third avenue of attack is to coordinate all law enforcing agencies by information records and movements of the narcotic criminal. This is a sort of international clearinghouse. The plight of these victims is pathetic. Even if a cure were possible, what can be done with these wasted lives? What is this thing that we have allowed to creep into their souls, destroying the very cream of a nation? See their pitiful attempts at bringing back their health. Look at their miserable bodies creeping along the backyards of the prison. Imagine a country struggling with a problem as you see it here. Here is one being picked up. Watch her swallow paper and all, so they cannot get any evidence on her. Poor creature. As if one day in jail would not tell her pitiful story. These are women peddlers. Can you imagine the finest of the peasantry, good husky wives and mothers, turning to so debasing a profession for the promise of luxuries to come? And here is the luxury: prison garb, coarse goods, unbecoming and miserable to wear. Does it seem possible that heads can be turned so easily? However, we have many in our own prisons for the same reason. This gives you a slight idea of the suffering of a woman addict after 24 hours without the drug her system must have. That pitiful face tells the story of hours of suffering. See, here is the blessed end to which all comes sooner or later. The addict is fortunate indeed who is properly buried, for there are very few who have any money left. One awful aspect of this thing is that whole families have been impoverished, withholding the knowledge from the world that one of their family is an addict. But he, without sufficient money for burial, has but one alternative: the pit, where the dying go to await the end, to be devoured by vultures in death as they were devoured by drugs in life.